My blood turned to ice as my boyfriend's father leaned back in his chair and smiled. Not a warm smile, a predator's. "Street garbage," he said casually, swirling his wine, "in a borrowed dress." The words slid across the dining table and stopped in my chest. 23 elite guests went perfectly still. Crystal glasses hovered mid-air. Silverware paused, inches from porcelain. No one breathed. They watched me the way people watch a car accident, horrified but unwilling to look away. The billionaire's cruel eyes locked onto mine. He wanted the moment to last. I felt my heart hammer once, twice, then slow. My body obeyed before my emotions could interfere. I folded my napkin, placed it neatly beside the plate, rose from my chair with deliberate calm. A smile touched my lips, not soft, not kind, measured. My boyfriend didn't move, didn't defend me, didn't even look at me. His silence was louder than the insult. That was when I knew. The humiliation wasn't accidental. It was planned. As I stood there, memories stacked themselves neatly in my mind, like files finally ready to be opened. And somewhere deep inside, something ancient and cold woke up. 3 months earlier, betrayal introduced itself without words. I came home early, no warning, no drama, just a quiet instinct I had ignored too long. The lights in the apartment were dimmed, shoes I didn't recognize by the door. Laughter in the bedroom. My laugh. But wrong. I stood in the hallway, keys cutting into my palm, listening to my own voice betray me from another woman's mouth. I didn't open the door. I never needed proof. Truth has a frequency. You feel it before you understand it. After that night, everything shifted. His phone never left his hand. Passwords changed. Excuses multiplied like bacteria. At company events, I noticed her, the VP's daughter. She laughed too loudly at his jokes, touched his arm like it belonged to her, and when she looked at me, there was pity mixed with contempt. She already knew something I didn't, or thought I didn't. Her father began to notice me too, comments about my background, my clothes, my luck. Each insult sharpened into a pattern. They weren't trying to hide it. They were daring me to react. I didn't. Silence became my weapon. I watched, I listened, I archived everything. At work, I rerouted communication logs under the excuse of a cybersecurity audit. Clean, legal, invisible. Late-night calls, private numbers, repeating patterns that told stories without dialogue. Expense reports followed. 2 overlapping business trips, hotels paid in cash, reimbursements funneled through shell companies tied directly to her father's division. Sloppy arrogance. At home, I played my role perfectly. I cooked, smiled, asked about his day, learned how to touch without warmth, how to kiss without meaning. Inside, my thoughts stayed razor sharp. I noticed how she started humiliating me publicly. Jokes about my upbringing, about how I should be grateful, and finally, the ring, my mother's ring. She laughed when she pointed at it, asked if it came from a pawn shop. What she didn't know was that the ring wasn't sentimental. It was encrypted, a legacy key. I had worn it because it reminded me who I was before I became invisible, before tonight. The results arrived the morning of the dinner. A clean, undeniable file. Affair confirmed, financial misconduct documented, corporate espionage traced back to her father's shell accounts. My boyfriend, useful, disposable, complicit. I printed nothing. I uploaded everything. When the dinner invitation arrived, black tie, exclusive, I accepted without hesitation. The guest list told me everything I needed to know. This wasn't just a humiliation, it was a test. At the table, after the insult, After the silence, I reached into my clutch and placed my phone gently on the linen. "I'd like to thank you," I said softly, my voice steady, "for hosting such an honest gathering." Confusion rippled. I tapped the screen. The room's monitors flickered, then froze. Bank transfers, messages, photos, audio files. Truth doesn't shout, it displays. Her father went pale first. He recognized his own signatures, his own voice, his own greed reflected back at him in perfect clarity. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. The VP's daughter collapsed into her chair, eyes darting, hands shaking. She looked at my boyfriend like a lifeline. He didn't look back. He was staring at me, finally seeing me. "I never wanted revenge," I said calmly. "I wanted accuracy." I turned to the billionaire. "You invited me here to be broken." I smiled again. "You should have checked who you were trying to crush." Security entered quietly, efficiently. Names were whispered, phones confiscated. Guests avoided eye contact as careers disintegrated in real time. I picked up my ring, slid it back on. I left before dessert. Outside, the night air was cold and clean. My phone buzzed once, then again. I didn't check it. I didn't need closure from people who mistook my silence for weakness. They lost everything chasing power. I lost nothing. As I walked away, I realized something simple and final. They never humiliated me. They revealed themselves, and that was enough.